Hey, what's going on, Chance? Hey, buddy. I'd rather slam my nuts in a car door than to watch your sad YouTube channel.
How's it going there, people? I was thinking, you know what I haven't made in a while? A pickups video. Now, I know pickups videos not everybody's cup of tea. Frankly, sometimes you don't care what game some people have been buying. I do. I always find it entertaining. I like to see people out there getting good deals, even though sometimes I get jealous as crap over it. But it has been quite a while since I updated my channel on things I've been picking up lately. And I thought I would lead off with the PlayStation Portable. Now, probably over a year ago, I picked up a PlayStation Portable from a Goodwill for $5. It was labeled as untested, didn't have a battery, didn't have a charger. Anyway, I went and picked up the components necessary to get it working and tried it out. It worked just fine. Now, the last PlayStation handheld that I attempted to collect was the Vita, and unfortunately, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I had to sell it. I know a lot of people love it, but for me, I'm not into anime games or JRPGs or basically any game that has that anime visual style to it. It's not for me. And with the Vita, it's really most of what the library is comprised of, so I had to let it go. There were some good Western games on it. Especially loved the Uncharted game that came out for the handheld. But, just having a small handful of games with moderate replay value for me just wasn't enough to keep the Vita around. Now, the PlayStation Portable, however, has a vast library of all sorts of different genres. And I'm looking through them one night, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of stuff here I'd actually like to play. So anyway, I started collecting for the system. Show you some games I've picked up here. Now, don't laugh, but I picked up, to lead off, Brooktown High. It's one of those, what does it say? Love is a game. How will you play it? And it's just kind of one of those, I don't know if you've ever played any dopey romance video games like, what was it? Sprung on the Nintendo DS, but even as a grown man, I'm secure enough in my masculinity to say I'm a sucker for a good love story. And these games like this can actually be fun. Now, I don't know that this one is. Haven't played it yet, but I will. Next is Space Invaders Extreme. Now, I think over the last couple of 3 generations of gaming hardware, there have been quite a few attempts at restyling classic games. And I've seen it with Tetris and seen it with the Atari games on Atari 50 and so forth. I watched some gameplay of this on YouTube, and it looks ridiculously fun, and I will get in on it. Now this one, Infected. This just looks fun as crap. I've tried to play it, and I can't. Why? Because I don't have a Memory Stick Duo for my PSP yet. Fortunately, I remember them being as expensive as crap, but the price has come down since I last owned a PSP. And I'm going to pick one up so that I can give this a shot because, again, it looks fun. This one, I bought Alien Syndrome, which I already own on the Wii. Frankly, I just bought it because I like the cover. I played it a little bit the other night. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It may be one of those that you have to spend some time with to really get into it. I will revisit it at some point. I got Hot Shots Golf. The whole Hot Shots series has always been a lot of fun, no matter what console you play it on. Full Auto 2 Battle Lines. This was a lot of fun. I played it last night. I own it on PlayStation 3 as well, I believe. This is just so much fun, especially if you're into Twisted Metal. No, I'm not saying it's exactly like Twisted Metal, but this is a race game where you're trying to destroy the other drivers. So it's like it in that regard. This is a lot of fun. I can see myself spending a fair amount of time with this one. Then this next one. Gosh. Napoleon Dynamite. I bought this knowing full well that this game is probably going to be terrible. I haven't played it yet. It's a collection of different mini games based on the Napoleon Dynamite movie. It's got all the main characters in there, as I understand it. I will play it. I haven't. See, that's the thing. In my life, I buy games at a clip way faster than I can actually play them. Then the last one in the stack is Pinball Hall of Fame, the Gottlieb collection. And again, I own this on multiple consoles. I'm a sucker for pinball. Absolutely love it. Play it on my phone. Play it on, I've got it on PlayStation 4, 2 or 3 of them. And I don't know that this one has my favorite pinball game of all time, which is Theater of Magic. And if you've never played it, it's freaking phenomenal. I do advise you to give it a go. But yeah, I can see myself collecting quite a few games for PSP that I actually want to play. And that's the deal with me in collecting. I don't collect just to collect. I have to see myself playing and enjoying a game, or I won't buy it. That's just all there is to it. Now, moving on, since we're in the handheld theme right now, I picked up a couple of Switch games. I got Cruisin' Blast on a sale from Best Buy. I think I paid $29.99 for it, which, again, that's about what it goes for. I really got it because my kids, whenever I take them to Dave & Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese, they love arcade racing games. I haven't even popped this one out of the plastic yet, but I will. I think if I don't dig it, my children certainly will. But the gameplay I've seen of it, it does look really cool. And then another one is in that vein of playable romance games called Arcade Spirits. Now, I don't have a Switch. I have a Switch Lite. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Switch at first, mainly because, and I think I've touched on this in other videos, I had a neck injury many years ago, had to have titanium put in there, and anyways, my hands have a little bit of a tremor, especially my thumbs, which really sucks when you're trying to play a game. And before, I couldn't really play without my thumb shaking a lot, and it's still, especially my left one, does shake. But I got this off of Temu, this case that gives it more of a Xbox 360, Xbox One Series X controller style feel. It offsets the sticks for me even more so than they already are. And I think I'll be able to enjoy this machine finally because I can halfway control my hands. Although my wife might argue to the contrary. Moving on. Picked up a couple for Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Honestly, I don't differentiate between the two because it seems like it's playable on one, it's playable on the other more often than not. And I picked up Sinking City. Now, I honestly don't know a lot about this game, but I like the visual styling of it. And for that reason, I decided to go ahead and pick it up. What did I get it for? Yeah, I paid like $17 for it. I think you can get it a lot cheaper than that now. But I was glad to pick it up. And then this, well, I mean, I already covered it the other night. It was Atomic Heart. Covered that in my last video. Got that from Gamefly. I was really thrilled with how it turned out in terms of the condition and everything. Then for Xbox 360, which is my baby. That is the system that's most near and dear to my heart to collect for. And I'm almost done. I'm at like 420 games that I have now. And there's just not many left in the library that I actually want to play. There's entire genres that aren't even represented in my collection. One that is covered pretty well, despite me not being the biggest fan of it, is racing. And for that, I picked up Need for Speed Rivals, the complete edition. Got it for $6 at Game Exchange. It does have, I don't know if it came with a manual. I know that, I wish that, I don't know if there's a website dedicated to listing which games from about 7th gen on back had manuals and which didn't, but that really needs to exist. Because a lot of times, I think the original 360 cases were more of a solid green, and then, later on in the life cycle, you started getting this more translucent green. And I find a lot of these later release titles don't have manuals. But enough do that whenever I see one in Game Exchange, GameStop, and I want to know for sure, because I despise buying games that don't have their manuals. I like my games complete. So a lot of times I'll pop on eBay and start looking at other listings, preferably ones with pictures. I don't know if this has a manual or not, but if it does, I was still willing to break my rule because it was $6. I mean, if it's not complete, it's $6. I shouldn't even have thrown this one in the list. I think I briefly covered it in my little short about going to the Habitat for Humanity store, but I picked up F1 2020 for PS4 for $1. That's really all I need to say about it. $1. A PlayStation 4 game for $1. You can never really complain. And then the last game that I picked up, I don't know how to pronounce this, to be honest. For Nintendo DS, Dagadar, I guess. It's a type of racing game. The visual aesthetic of it is definitely different. Haven't played it yet. Picked it up for $4. Now, I am willing to ease up on my hard rule about not buying games I could see myself playing, but if they're cheap like that, there's even an outside shot I may halfway get 5 minutes of pleasure out of it, yeah, I'll buy it. And then I didn't just pick up Atari 50 for the Switch. I've had it for some time, but let me tell you why it's in this video. My little boy is 6 years old, and my wife took him and his sister and her friend and their little kids. They all went down to the beach last week. I, unfortunately, had burned up all my vacation time from my trip to Dallas with the family, but the other half was burned on COVID, unfortunately. And I knew my wife was probably going to take the Switch Lite. My kids like it. I have the Goat Simulator game on it, and that's their absolute favorite game in the universe. And I never thought in a million years my little boy would ever mess with the game slot. I was like, nah, there's nothing in there he's going to be interested in. Yeah, that was faulty logic, because my little boy is still a little boy. And somewhere along the lines, I had Atari 50 in here. He popped it out, and you know how big Switch games are, which is to say not very. And it's just gone. And it was eating me up because I had not got to spend much time with this game. And what little I had experienced, I watched quite a few of the videos. It's true. This is arguably the best compilation title ever made. You could tell that it wasn't rushed. It wasn't just like a ROM dump onto a cartridge, here you go, like Sega's so fond of doing. They took their time with this. They curated interviews and documents, and just kind of gave the history of the company and what its culture was like. This can be experienced and enjoyed on so many levels. And I can't get mad at my little boy. He's a little boy. It's my own fault for just assuming that he wouldn't do what a child is going to do and let their curiosity get the better of them and then lose stuff. But the reason I'm including this in a recent pickup video is because I ordered another copy, but this time I went on GameStop's app and I ordered from them online, which I never do. But I was ordering new, and they actually had the Steelbook edition, the gold Steelbook edition, which looks like this. It's absolutely cool. It has a poster, and it was $20 more than the standard edition. I'm like, well, as much as I was enjoying this, if I'm going to buy another copy, I'm going to buy another copy. I'm going to buy the best copy that I can buy. And I'm really looking forward to that. That should be in probably within a week, I hope. I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably do a video on that, just unboxing and appreciating the gold-colored steelbook that the better version comes with. And I think that's one of the things I love about physical media, too. And I realize there's a bit of a generational divide. My oldest son is 22. He couldn't care less about physical media. He doesn't own any, doesn't want any. He's a PC gamer, so he plays and buys digital only. So, he didn't grow up with the attachment that I did. But for me, physical media is more, or it's just the games are more than just about the games. Like I enjoy the tactile experience. I do. I enjoy the extras that come with some of them. Like I think a lot of folks don't necessarily appreciate all the hard work and artistic vision that goes into creating a lot of the extras, and they really surprise you if you don't usually bother looking at them. Take your time with them, like really take them in. But anyways, speaking of taking time, I think I've taken up too much of yours. If you've watched this far, I certainly appreciate you. I really, again, I'm struggling to get this YouTube channel off the ground. This is a labor of love for me. I'm really enjoying doing this. I'm trying to learn new things all the time. I just ask, if you got anything out of this video, just hit that like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't take you anything in the way of time. Just turn it blue. Anyways, and if you subscribe, that would be even better. But y'all take it easy. Have a good one.